Hello, fellow Kentuckians. This is Wesley Morgan running for United States Senate against Mitch McConnell in the June 23rd, 2020 Republican primary, which of course is today. There's a couple of issues one issue that's came up that I've been getting a lot of requests from people across the state that I want to address. That is about vaccinations. Uh, I oppose mandatory vaccinations. I would never ever be for mandatory vaccinations. I think that is, well, first thing, I think it's unconstitutional. I don't think that you can make someone take a vaccine that they don't want to take. Uh, I, I would venture to guess that my opponent, Mitch McConnell, would certainly not take the stance that I'm taking, that he would probably be for forced vaccinations. However, I'm not opposed to those people who want to take a vaccination. If they want to take it, they can take it. That's up to them. But I do not believe that should be forced upon any one of us in this country. That is totally contrary to the Constitution of the United States. So I'll solve that issue right off the bat, that absolutely no mandatory vaccinations under my watch as a United States Senator. I would fight it tooth and nail. Another thing that people talked about is that a freshman senator not having any clout. That's absolutely not true. All senators, there's only 100 senators in the entire United States. All senators have clout, and they have a very strong voice across this country. Now, it would be true that if Mitch McConnell loses, that he would no longer be Senate Majority Leader. But if you look at his voting record, there's no way on this earth that you can say that Mitch McConnell, being the Senate Majority Leader, has been any benefit whatsoever to us people who believe in the Constitution of the United States. He absolutely has not. The man has done everything in the sun trying to undermine our constitutional rights. He's a globalist. His wife's a globalist. All they're concerned about is their multi-million dollars of income and their power. And to me, that is really, I can hardly believe it anyway, because at his age, why would he care? Why would he be so, involved in whether or not that the United States gives up its sovereignty and becomes just a part of a one-world government? I certainly I don't understand that at all. Of course, I don't understand it under any circumstances. But I'll fight for the sovereignty of the United States. I want to address another issue. This thing with Antifa and tearing down these monuments and stuff. I call upon the President of the United States and Senator McConnell, that's in office now, and the rest of our congressional delegation, stop it, and stop it now before this gets totally out of hand. How long do you think that a majority of freedom-loving constitutionalists are going to stand by and let these people destroy our country? It's not going to happen. So what are they waiting for? Bloodshed? Because that is probably what's coming if things do not change. So please, I call upon you, President Trump, I call upon the congressional delegation from Kentucky and America, for that matter, stop what's going on. Did you know that the United States Congress appropriates the money for the budget of Washington, D.C.? All they would have to do, all Mitch McConnell would have to do as Senate Majority Leader, is pick up the phone and call the mayor of Washington, D.C. and said, we are not going to tolerate what's going on in this Capitol, tearing down these monuments. That is not going to be tolerated any longer. And if you don't do something about it, we will, and we will shut your budget off. And that's what needs to be done. Shut their budget off. And if you do that, you will see that if that requires bringing in the National Guard and protecting the monuments and stuff in Washington, D.C., any monument across this country, then I suggest that they do that. Now, if you want to have a civil debate about the monuments and whether or not they should be there, then let's put it on the ballot. Let the people vote on it. But I'm a major in history in college. I do not believe under any circumstances that we should be tearing down our history in this country. Absolutely, we should not. And it's time to stop this lunacy before it gets so out of hand that America ends up looking like Syria or Beirut. It is absolutely ridiculous, and we have allowed these people to come into this country, and their whole goal is to destroy the United States of America and establish some kind of totalitarian government. And we're not going to stand for it. I'm not going to stand for it, and I know thousands of people across this country and across this state's not going to stand for it. So once, and I guess what they're trying to do is provoke a civil war, and I certainly don't advocate that by any stretch of imagination. Violence is a horrible thing. Once violence gets started, violence has no preference. You could have people killed that you never even would think about being killed. All right, people say, I'm going to defend my home. Well, you might defend your home, but if you get in a shootout, you may look over and your 9-year-old child's laying there dead, or your wife's dead. We do not need violence in this country. We need to give the police departments, all the police across this country, our full support. We all know that there's bad apples in every barrel, but we can take care of those bad apples. But for the most part, for 99.999%, the law enforcement in this country are good, and they are necessary, and judicial system is necessary, that we must live by the rule of law, or we are going to end up in anarchy, and we're going to end up in a place we don't want to be. So on today, and today is election day, and I just don't have any idea about this election. The rules have been changed. There's, in my opinion, there's probably never been anything to this pandemic. It was all about the election, and this mail-in voting stuff. I don't trust that at all. When do we get a result? Do we get a result today? At the end of the, like we normally do at the end of the night, do we get a result on the election? Probably not. Well, how long do we have to wait? And why did we have to have a ballot as long as it was postmarked by June the 23rd? Why could it not have been postmarked 3 days ago or 4 days ago so that all the votes were in? Why did we have to wait till we know the tallies before we know how many votes we need in order to overcome somebody's lead? It's ridiculous. It's just it's set up for fraud, and it is, are we really going to accept if we was to be leading at the end of the night, and then all of a sudden magically thousands of votes appears that comes out of a closet somewhere? I don't think anyone's going to accept that result of that election. So I'm just telling you that we're in a world of hurt in this country, and if we don't get some constitutionalists, I'm one of them, but if we don't get some constitutionalists who are willing to stand up for the rights of the people and stand up for the Constitution of the United States, as long as you follow the Constitution of the United States and you follow the rule of law, everything will eventually turn out to be right. That's just like when you're talking about people being arrested. Submit. If the police pull you over and they're going to arrest you, submit. Then sue the crap out of them. If they're wrong, sue the crap out of them when you get them in court. But trying to consistently not comply with the orders of a police officer puts that police officer in jeopardy himself, and he's going to protect his life. He's armed. He's going to protect his life. And you don't want to give that police officer any impression whatsoever that you pose a threat to him. If you do, then you're going to be in a world of hurt. And I don't blame them. They're human beings just like everybody else is. Now, again, if that police officer is doing something that is unconstitutional or wrong, then I suggest that you sue him. Most likely he'll be fired. You'll take everything he's got through a civil procedure. Plus, there's a law, Title 18, Section 242, that if you violate a person's civil rights under color of law, you could be subjected to up to 10 years in prison. Think about that. You have all the law behind you. If you are pulled over by a police officer, submit, and then let whatever happens happen in court. That's my saying on that. Now, we are receiving a lot of feedback from across the state, and we're being told by every one of our supporters across the state that we're running strong. So I don't know where McConnell gets that this race is already over. They act like the race is over, and they've been acting like that from day one. They've done everything they can to keep my name out of the news media. They blocked and shadow banned me on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. They have done everything they can. Now, I even seen an article today that this election was determining the Democrat to run against McConnell. Well, if McConnell's won it, then why is his commercial still running today? Why did he send this mailer out? You see this mailer? Why did he send that out if he's already won it? Why did he spend thousands and thousands of dollars and to put a mailer out like this? Look at this mailer. Trump and McConnell's the only squad that America needs. Well, when did McConnell become part of Trump's squad? McConnell has fought the president ever since day one. He fought him being nominated for the Republican nomination. He fought him from getting the Republican nomination. He fought him for the first 2 years of the president's term. The only time that Mitch McConnell has ever become an ally of President Trump is when it came time for Mitch McConnell to run for re-election. Mitch McConnell is the most deceitful individual that I have ever known in my 69 years of life. He is absolutely corrupt to the core. There's no doubt about it. Corrupt to the core. And now he wants to pretend, because what he wants to do is he wants to convince you, the voter, that it's over. There's no sense you getting out and voting. This thing's over. He's already won it. Well, he hasn't. And if he had, I can assure you that he would not be still campaigning by sending out mailers in the mail and by still having his advertisements on TV. He would be saving that money to run against the Democrat. But he has not won the Republican nomination yet. And he may not win the Republican nomination. They could have egg on their face by the time the day's over. And I looked at this mailer that he sent out. And let me tell you some of the questions. And you probably got it in your mailbox. Now, I couldn't send the mailer out because I don't get all that pharmaceutical money and insurance money and racing industry money and all that stuff. I don't get any of that money. He gets it. I don't. Now, if I win, they'll probably be trying to give me some of that money to help beat the Democrat. But we have to run a very bare bones campaign because based upon the rules that Mitch McConnell himself passed, he can get a donation of $324,000. I can only get a donation of $2,800. Now, how's that fair? How's that fair? How can he have that kind of way to that is just an avenue to deceive the people. That's all it is. And all he's done since the day he's been there, and I voted for him every single time, so I'm not criticizing anybody voting for him in the past, because I voted for him every single time except the one time that I voted for Governor Bevin in 2014, and I did vote for him then. But after McConnell won the primary, I voted for McConnell in the general election. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's no way I'll ever vote for Mitch McConnell again, ever. That is the most corrupt individual I have ever known. I know the Democrats are bad, and I will never vote for a Democrat. But I will never cast a vote for Mitch McConnell, and I know a lot of conservatives across this state will absolutely not vote for him. It will not happen. But he's so disingenuous. He puts on here, now look what he puts, that since day one of the Trump administration, Mitch McConnell has served the president's #1 ally. Not true. Absolutely not true. Where was all of the judges' confirmations for the first 2 years with him and Paul Ryan? Why did Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell, who both were in the majority in 2017 and 2018, why did they not stop the immigration, the illegal immigration from coming into the United States? Why did they not do that? How could he be the president's #1 ally? Never has been, never will be. And if for some reason Mitch McConnell wins today, he will become the president's worst nightmare for the next 6 years. Mark my words on that. He will do that if he is fortunate enough to win re-election. And why would we want him anyway? Of all the people in America Mitch McConnell, one of the most corrupt politicians that's ever existed, and he is going to he's going to all of a sudden change and be a man that believes in principle? I don't think so. I don't think he would be. So, what else does he say here? He has profoundly fought shoulder to shoulder with President Trump to pass historic tax cuts. Yeah, he did pass historic tax cuts, but let's look at all the years he's been there and all the taxes that he's put upon us. Mitch McConnell's been there since 1985. He has taxed us to death. He was there when they rewrote the Internal Revenue Code in 1986. Mitch McConnell has done nothing to help the general public of Kentucky or America. All he's really done is looked out for his crony, big shot multi-millionaires that keeps feeding him the money that it takes for him to get elected. Says he put more than 195 conservative judges on the federal court. Have you watched some of those conservative judges? Some of them his allies and best friends. Some of them have made rulings that you scratch your head and go, I thought they were supposed to be conservative. But still, I'll go back and ask you this question. Where were the judges in 2017? Where were the judges in 2018? Where were the judges in half of 2019? He only started passing the judges when he wanted to use that as a means to get reelected, and that's a means to get reelected so he could claim that he's passing these judgeships. They'll probably stop immediately if they get reelected. Probably immediately. He says he defends the Second Amendment. Look at his voting record. That man does not defend the Second Amendment. This thing is getting so out of hand. It's about money. I saw where the NRA gave him an endorsement. In the NRA. Mitch McConnell has voted 6 times against the Second Amendment. 6 times. All it is about money anymore. The NRA wants you to continue sending them money. And they're going to endorse someone like Mitch McConnell who's voted against the Second Amendment 6 times. It's ridiculous. Let's look at the Right to Life of Kentucky. Right to Life of Kentucky endorsed Mitch McConnell. How could they endorse Mitch McConnell? He's never once defunded Planned Parenthood. Not once. He also voted for a number of abortion bills. How could he possibly be right to life? He's only right to life during the election. And the right to Life of Kentucky has got so used to getting the money that they don't want to do anything that might jeopardize cutting off the money stream to them. Did you notice that the Right to Life of Northern Kentucky did not endorse him? It's all becoming pathetic. The whole process is pathetic. We have organizations that we think are protecting our constitutional rights and protecting the life of the unborn and protecting our right to bear arms, and all they're after is our money. That's it. Because if you can't be, loyal to the Constitution or loyal to your conservative views, and you're going to vote in a way that just because of income, then you're not standing on your principles. It's all about just making money. And that's what most everyone is doing. They're more concerned about putting money in their pocket rather than actually doing what's right for the people of Kentucky and the people of America. It's ridiculous. Rushed emergency relief to people hurt by the pandemic. Well, I've got some real questions about this pandemic. It's true that they did pass a emergency economic relief thing that the president wanted, because if they didn't, I don't know how this country would have survived, because with this, and I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it is a fake pandemic. It is fake. This is the first time in American history that we have quarantined the well rather than the sick. Think about what we've done. We've tore our country apart. And why? All because of the elections, so that those powerful political elite can try to fool you or try to somehow illegally get reelected again. That's what it's all about. All this will go away after the election in November. Every bit of it will. And you're going to find out that all this was a sham. The whole thing's been a sham. This last one is a joke. Secure the borders, support our veterans, and strengthen the military. Secure our borders. When did Mitch McConnell ever secure our borders? Name me one time. If you look at his voting record, he's voted for amnesty I don't know how many times. Again, in 2017, 2018, when they were in the majority, Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan wouldn't do anything to stop the illegal immigration coming into this country. They refused to do anything to stop it when the president was standing there every day demanding it, and they still wouldn't do it. This guy is a joke. Support our veterans. We have veterans that are sleeping on the sidewalks in the cities of this country, but Mitch McConnell and his cronies pass a bill to allocate $4.5 billion to the border to take care of illegal immigrants or illegal aliens coming across our southern border that they would not pass a law to stop, but they passed $4.5 billion to feed and house those people. Think about that. Why our veterans who went and fought these wars that probably we shouldn't have been in to begin with. This whole thing, ladies and gentlemen, is becoming a joke. Now, I know that most of you all, you want some kind of a movie star or somebody, some known name to represent you, and that I do not understand. What all you need is someone who stands up for your right, who knows what it is to be you. These people don't know what it is to be you. They live a life beyond any means that you ever had. If you're worth $60 million, in some estimates it's $60 million, as Mitch and Elaine is, do you think they ever worry about anything? Or is their refrigerator or freezer full of gourmet ice cream also, like Nancy Pelosi's? I say it's full of gourmet ice cream. People live the life of luxury, go to their big parties, do everything, and all they're worried about is keeping the flow of money coming to them. And they will do anything to stop someone like me, someone who's going to call them out for what's wrong. Now, it's true that if I get elected, and when I get elected, I go to Washington, D.C., that they may find me floating in the Potomac River, because I will stand up to this bunch of thugs and I will call them out for everything they do. Now, they'll probably, I had one supporter in New York tell me, he said, "Wesley, why are you doing this? Don't you know they'll end up they'll trump something up on you and put you in prison? Don't you know that?" And I said, "Well, I got to do what I got to do. And when I go to Washington, D.C., I will call these thugs and these crooks out, and I will let the public know exactly what these people are doing to us. Because I know I've suffered from it, just like you. You have the common, everyday person who gets up every day and works hard, has to send their wife out to work too, so you can make 2 car payments, a house payment, and God forbid, trying to clothe and feed your children. These people don't care about you. They don't. I'll be 70 years old in July. I have nothing to gain but to help restore this country back to the greatness that it was. And I can do that. And I will work side by side with President Trump. I won't work with him so the president has to be in fear that I'll vote against him, vote for impeachment on him, like the Senate Majority Leader, who has constantly held the threat of impeachment over the president's head. Why do you think Elaine Chao is Secretary of Transportation? Do you think that Trump wants her there? She's there because Mitch McConnell wanted her Secretary of Public Protection, and he's got to get along with the Senate Majority Leader, or he may be impeached. This is the kind of stuff that's going on in this Washington, D.C. with Mitch McConnell. If you want to change this country, if you want to change the course of this state, You have got to vote this man out. This man is corrupt. Just look at the Republican Party of Kentucky. The Republican Party of Kentucky is ruled by him with an iron fist. Everyone's afraid. They're afraid to publicly support anybody but him. They support, a lot of them support me behind his back, but they're afraid to publicly support because he'll bring all that high-powered Washington, D.C. money in here and try to primary him. That's the reason why that they don't come out publicly. The man, he might as well be a godfather. He might as well be a member of the mafia, because that's exactly, he uses extortion to get what he wants. And strengthen the military. Well, thank God for President Trump. I don't know how that Mitch McConnell can say that he strengthens the military when he went around with sequestration with Obama and he helped destroy the military right down to they never even had the parts to make the helicopters and the planes fly. He's a liar. He's a liar. The man is a liar. He is a con liar. And if you vote for him, you're voting for corruption. This is Wesley, Morgan. This will probably be my last broadcast for this election. I hope to come back live with good news. I'll probably make a broadcast either way. But I don't know when this election will be over. I don't know if it's over tonight. I don't know if it's over tomorrow. I don't know if it's over the day after that. I don't know when it's over. I guess it'll be over whenever they find enough votes for him to win. Think about everything I've said in this broadcast. It's you, the common, everyday person, that's got to stop this. Nobody else can stop it. You got to stop it. And if you don't stop it, it will be worse and worse. Look what's happened in the 36 years that Mitch McConnell has been in D.C. Look how much your rights you have lost. Look how the thugs are running around in the streets tearing down our history. I will tell you what I said yesterday on that video I did about Antifa. I know history, and I study history. And I can tell you, and I'll go back and say what I said then. When Adolf Hitler took over Germany, when Mao Zedong took over China, when Stalin took over Russia, the very first thing they tried to do was disarm the public. And when they disarmed the public, the next thing that they did is they decided what parts of the population needed to be in their way of putting things re-educated. And they would send you to these concentration camps. And once you got to the concentration camps, then they decided if you couldn't be re-educated, you had to be murdered. You had to be killed. That's where you're headed. This got to stop. It's for your children. I have a 12-year-old and a 30-year-old. I'm trying to do this to protect my children. Now, it probably don't matter as far because of my age. It probably doesn't matter about me. I'll probably survive it no matter what. But what about my children? What about your children? Don't you want your children to grow up in a free country? We're going to get to the point that we can't even go travel without their approval. We'll have to have visas. We'll have to have what they already started doing, real IDs, in order to go from one state to the other. That's what's coming. Unless you wake up and you throw every one of these tyrants out, and then they be prosecuted, and then they be imprisoned or hung. Until that happens, you're going to lose your rights more and more and more until one morning you wake up and there are no rights. This is Wesley Morgan, running for United States Senate against Mitch McConnell. Today is voting day. If you hear this message, please get out and vote. We have got to have the vote. If people turn out and vote, we win. We get rid of one of the biggest tyrants that's ever been in Washington, D.C. if you get out to vote. He has done everything he can to spend the money to convince you that he needs to be there for 6 more years. Mitch McConnell does not need to be there for 6 more years. But his obsession with power is so great. I guess he wants to die on the Senate floor. But I thank you for listening at me. This is C. Wesley Morgan. Let me see if I've got any questions. I will end the broadcast here. C. Wesley Morgan for United States Senate, running June 23rd, 2020 primary, which is today. Please get out and vote. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I look forward to talking to you tonight, hopefully in a positive way, or tomorrow, or whenever the election's called. But thank you.